Hey there, viewers. My name's Torinski, and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Today we're, of course, jumping right back into the usual routine, trying to have a bit of fun between 15 rune runs here. Where we last left off, of course, we met an unfortunate end on poor Nathaniel. Still feeling a little sad about that one, but of course we immediately jumped into another run with good old Ilsui. Regardless, our lovely Merfolk gladiator of Yered in the end after going through Fated Altar. We also, of course, had an unceremonious end to the stream as my computer shut off in the middle of our run here, but fortunately we didn't lose all of our progress, just some of it. So hopefully we can continue to see what New Yered is about, because it was definitely pretty unfamiliar territory for me, but of course who knows what the dungeon has in store. So without further ado, let's get ready to hop right into it, shall we? And then we got turned back the clock to when we were hanging out with Grum and friends here, so we'll just see if we can at the very least survive until the same point we made it last time. Already taking a lot more damage, but not the end of the world here. Ring of Wizardry will actually potentially just leave behind for now, not worry about that. And now normally it would be a bit of an advantage that we're coming into this having explored some of the level before the sun shut down, but on the flip side, I don't remember much as to what we had left behind, so I don't know whether that will be a big boon, and it should just be this floor. I couldn't remember how often DCSS automatically saves your characters for you. I was actually kind of surprised to have Ilsui around at all, because I was worried that we'd lost out on all of the progress that we'd made, but fortunately did not seem to be the case. I do remember that last time we just killed Maggie. I'm not feeling quite so confident this time around, so let's head upstairs and see if we can't get a bit of a following before we run into you again, my friend. The bees will potentially help. They're at least relatively straightforward for us to fight, so that's nice. And please give me an elephant zombie, son of a gun. Definitely could have been a nice bit of friendliness for us, but not the end of the world, as I unfortunately get confused, but hopefully we can make it through this in one piece. In fact, yeah, I was gonna run to see if we could hang out in the corridor and feel a little bit safer, but I don't want to leave our zombie friends hanging like that, so we're gonna pop in here and help them out along their way. That's fantastic. Don't think we quite have a good ability just yet. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's what I was concerned about. Oh, and we do get mesmerized, but we can just pop around the tree there, using the fact that that's technically towards Maggie. And it's not too shabby here. 3d13 is the damage that we have to be on the lookout for. We do have enough health potions, so I think we will hop in here. Perfect. And we do manage to take you out, my friend. Another scroll we probably do want to carry around. I guess this magic regen amulet can hit the deck for now, and we'll see how that goes. Hello, friends. If you'd like to join us, we are always looking for new compatriots. My main issue right now is with this priest in the background, because with them continuing to lay down the hurt, we will be in trouble. I don't love wasting Aswan charges on a relatively weak series of enemies, but I think that works out better in the long run, and that's fantastic. Even getting a bit of friendship going on here. Lovely group of individuals. Something that I didn't notice at all last week when we were starting this is we named this character Usui, just because I was completely out of ideas and couldn't come up with anything clever. But it almost became a fitting nickname. I mean, sure, we don't have the spells that they do, we don't exactly have the same set of weapons, but we're almost like an undead version, and we have our own little series of bodyguards here. Oh gosh, these confusion stacks are definitely getting to be a little bit of a pain in the rear. Let's focus down our invisible friend. Not too shabby. I should actually see, with this many friends, what can we do? Oh, I see. Recall takes a few stages to get everyone in. That's good to know. We have Dark Bargain, but still unable to drain ambient life force, and definitely can't bind living souls. How many friends do I need? Again, unless it's more of a hit dice thing, that's actually something I probably should have done between sessions here, is look up how Uret works, because at this point, I have no clue what the heck it is that I'm doing here, and just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. So hopefully before we get taken out, we figure that out. Ooh, Fire Dragon scales. I mean, don't know for sure if we'll wear you. Let's pick you up while we're at it. Also, just to remind myself, contamination, cold resistance. Cold resistance does mean we can kind of afford this. Our AC would decrease by 1, but we'd get a nice amount of fire resistance out of it. That doesn't seem too bad. We'd still be at 2 pips of cold resistance, so we'll keep that in mind. AC remains unchanged with this. We do lose out on some evasion. From 11 to 8. But after kind of feeling a little bit annoyed at all of the status effects that have come down on us this early on in our session, I do feel like it might be worth it to switch over to willpower. And let's see how things go, shall we? Hello, my friends. Oh gosh, no, don't fight the Manticore, please. Everyone just run. Run for your very life. Only 1 friend remaining after all of that. How much damage do you actually do? 26 and claw twice for 14 each. It's a lot for sure. 54. Let's at least just do a bit more damage. What about your spikes? 2d13? So that's not as bad. We're actually okay with you barbing us. Maybe. Might live to regret that still, but let's follow that up with an Ice Blast. And that's fantastic. We hit all of the caps on the skills that we'd set as well, which is beautiful. So where do we go from here? Long blades will be good for the time being. I guess dodging might be nice to train a bit of, since that is how this run is looking so far. I'm tempted to train armor as well. That -3 aptitude is going to be a pain in the butt to work against, but it should help out a little bit with our overall AC here. Is evocations worth it? We have a decent number of wands, I guess. So let's leave armor off for now, and let's actually swap over the evocations route and start seeing how it's looking, especially if we can find a rechargeable evocable as soon as possible. That makes things even better, of course. Let's maybe put the Wand of Flame on our quick attack button, and that should actually be a pretty decent zombie, I believe. Let's take a look at you, my friend. 59 health is good, and yeah, bite for 16, claw twice for 12 each. Fantastic stuff. Ooh. It's a few more orc priests than I was prepared for here. Do kind of want to focus them down, but at the same time I can't ignore everyone else too much. At the very least, we're getting friends as the fight continues on. Also getting severely poisoned, of course. So let's swap out and see what our friends can do here, shall we? We could Dark Bargain, I guess. Gives us a temporary ally in exchange for a few of our bodies here. Oh. Excuse me. Are you just an orc wizard? I'd hope you're just an orc wizard, but I'm slightly concerned that you're something a bit stronger. Doesn't look like it as we take them out there. Okie dokie. Using quite a few more potions than I would like. How much damage do you do? 10 in poison, 10. So that's fine. We'll try to take out the human as soon as possible, then by our powers combined, we can deal with the moccasin. That's not too shabby. We don't have poison resistance, but we should be able to take out bees quickly, especially with a poison weapon on our side. Kind of abuse their vulnerability as much as we can, and that's not too bad. Did get a few more ID scrolls as well, so let's use up these bad boys. Amnesia is a nice trade-off. To just throw on the ground and give us a little bit more inventory room to work with. Oh, and fantastic. Yet another ID scroll. Well, that's Dark Bargain. I mean, that's a pretty dang good deal, if you ask me. Oh my gosh, yeah, Ogre didn't even make it to us. We will, of course, unfortunately lose our friend at some point here, but that's to be expected. What the heck did I pick up? It's taking up our newly freed inventory slot. I guess stones we'll throw away for now. Hopefully everything works out. Okay, so there, the Jingxi just disappeared. So they are a fairly durable summon. Definitely last for a decent while, and we should be using them up because any leftover friends we have at the end of the floor, kind of not worth it at the end of the day. Means that we could have been a little more liberal in our application of death magic. So just something to potentially keep in mind. I was about to say, is anyone on this floor? Just me. I'm guessing that friend can't leave a zombie if I had to guess. Okay, gargoyle might suck a little more than I would like. Oh, fear doesn't work on gargoyles. Who knew? Polymorph, probably not a great idea, especially since it doesn't even work on you either. Oh goody. Oh joy. Oh gosh, so this might have been an encounter that we aren't quite suited to take on. At least you're dealing, 28 to 36 max damage, depending on which attack you go for, so we're not one hit. And you have low health. So Ice Blast definitely does some wonders for us there, and that's fantastic. Well, let's actually take out the priest and then accidentally take a step down. Fortunately, is not the end of the world, but definitely wasn't what I was originally intending. So we could become paralyzed, but our enemy is also weak to poison, so we find ourselves in a bit of an interesting spot there. Fortunately, we're able to take out the Hornet before too much trouble came down on our heads, but always a little bit scary, especially since it was only relatively recently that we had a character go down to an early one of those Sons of Guns. We can help out a little bit to soften this buddy out, and oh baby. I was excited, but besides the 85 HP health pool, 14 and 19 damage, I mean, it's okay. It's not terrible. Not quite as nice as we were hoping. Oh no. I was about to say this might be a more dangerous situation than we're giving it credit for. An unseen horror, I believe, based on the pattern there. But okie dokie. Not too shabby. We did again end the floor with a few more friends than absolutely necessary. So, can always hope to do a little bit more work in that regard. Hello, friend. Let's start with the blast, and then we can swing a couple times and see how it goes. So strange. The exact opposite of our last encounter there. But interesting. A +4 quarterstaff of flame gives Arlec RC Dex +7. Fortunately, it doesn't scale off of Dex, so it kind of defeats the purpose of being a Dex build like we currently are going for here. So maybe not worth it at the end of the day there, but tempting still in its own way. Ooh, me oh my. Don't know if I'm quite ready for a Cyclops. In fact, we will lose out on our one friend, but it might just be worth it in this situation. Let's get a bit safe. Like I said, playing it safe. At least we're adjacent to you, so you can't immediately strike us down. Unfortunately, we don't have anything like haste ready. Looking at these buddies, they'll have over 50% chance to hit us, so that's probably not ideal. You don't blink or anything, hey? Do hit for 44 plus drain. Okay, so we might be in trouble. Could try to use nets to get us some time. At the very least, I think I need to go upstairs. Follow that up with some good old fear. Oh, and oh no. You could strike down on us at any moment. Can I turn you into something else? Black bear worm or water moccasin? Okay. Gladly. And let's see, my friend. 42 damage is not the end of the world. If I can soften you up. Oh, poor Ladul. Why did Ladul have such soft options for the polymorph there? Surprisingly low hit dice, that buddy. 40 damage. Don't want to use a heal wounds, especially since chances are it'll be fine, much like we saw. It did end up being just okay. But still better than risking the unfortunate one-shot there. We're going to learn from our mistakes as much as we possibly can. We're definitely going to mark the heal wounds and potion of mutation as potential options for the future. Tempted to buy the mutation. It's a bit expensive for essentially an ID scroll, or the equivalent to. Degeneration, on the other hand, 17 gold for a free ID, free up a slot in our inventory. That I can gladly take advantage of. Then I almost actually want to come across the whatchamacallit? The ogre band once again here, because if we can get a few of them onto our side, that should be a nice selection of very tanky zombie friends. I mean, I got exactly what I wished for, I guess, so I can't complain too much. There we go. Two-headed is not exactly what we were hoping for. Let's see, though. Hello, friends. I'm back, baby. Okay, or no zombies. That's cool, too. And unfortunately, not a lot going on in that shop. Let's swap in here. We're not going to die in one shot, and then we have the retreat of swapping places with our buddy. At the end there, technically could have died with one slot, though it's not very likely to happen. So it all works out. At the very least, have two friends. Cyclops is taken out, so that leaves me a little more free to finish exploring the area. I don't even know why we're here, come to think of it. Probably should just go down to Lair. Hello, Snork. Okay. We have a few bodies in the way. Not doing quite as well as I'd like against Snork. Can turn you into Tengu, Blink Frog, or Guardian Serpent. Oh my gosh, paralysis actually OP. Who knew? Normally far too terrified of the unknown to bother trying to take advantage of that, but I guess sometimes it just works. Can now drain ambient life force. So let's take a look at you. Drains life force of nearby creatures, healing the user depending on the damage dealt. Good to know. The amount of life force drained is increased by invocation skills. Well, okay, we'll keep that in mind for the future. It unfortunately requires quite the selection, though this does almost confirm to me that it's hit dice based, because this is not that many friends, but they're definitely hard hitters. And that is wonderful. So finishing off D11, yeah, I think we will backtrack a little bit. Orc. Lair. Do I have a preference? I guess we don't have poison resistance, which is a bit of a shame. But shouldn't do horribly in Lair, especially since a lot of early game poisonous enemies are at the very least themselves susceptible to their own flavor. Let's head up to Orc, and maybe we can take a peek, see how things are looking. Now this looks awfully familiar, does it not? Interesting. I don't like the Ogre Mage, so I think I will actually take a bit of a retreat on this one. And is it worth even turning you into something? Mana Viper, Water Nymph, Dream Sheep. None are great. I'm just slightly concerned about how much damage you can deal, my friend. Poison you up and start walking away. And I guess that means we'll most likely be coming back to Orc a little bit later on here once we're feeling a little bit better about ourselves. I was ready to immediately struggle against the Moccasin and regret the bold claims, but seems to be okay for now. And we'll just keep on keeping on. Or Rhyme Drake never stood a chance, one of the few enemies that we seem to be exceptionally suited for fighting against. An Orb of Energy, no thank you. Orb of Light, I would have been tempted to, I don't know, at least temporarily bring on board. And wow, already hitting those skill caps already. Just flying through the ranks here. So a bit of fighting. Get that HP pool up. You know, let's go more dodging. Let's lean into this dodge-based build, shall we? Sure, we're wearing armor that's a little bit too heavy to truly take advantage of it at the moment. Oh, me oh my. So, okay, I need to get some bodies. Some bodies. Oof, oof, oof. Let's make the Boulder Beetle roll into our friend. Sorry, zombie pal. Had to be done. And then we can at least back off into this relatively safe corridor, at least until the Boulder Beetle decides to ruin my life. But we can get them exceptionally poisoned and keep kind of dealing with these buddies as they come up. You, I was slightly concerned about. 66% chance to hit me is a lot higher than I would like. There goes the Boulder Beetle, though. And we can try to blast the rest of these buddies, applying enough poison that blinking is not in their best interests. Kind of works out. Fantastic. And there we go. Survived the Mark Trap. Not too shabby at the end of the day here. I would like these silver javelins if we can afford to pick them up. That Staff of Cold, almost completely unnecessary. At least at this moment. Oh, and wow. Chainmail of Vired's Whim? I mean, it's fitting. It's flavorful. But unfortunately, removing willpower is not exactly everything we're hoping for at the moment, so we'll have to leave that alone for now. Also picked up some amnesia at some point, so that can hit the ground, and not too bad here at the end of the day. Should maybe check out what this hat is. Another +1, and it potentially doesn't match quite as nice with the rest of our outfits, so I think we'll leave that bad boy alone for now. And an artifact hand axe. How about that? Getting quite the slew of artifacts. Unfortunately, none are super useful, but still pretty cool. We'll see how far we can make this run go, if it can go the distance. Okay, I don't have electricity resistance, but I do have a Wand of Flame, which is usually all you really need to take care of electric eels. Similarly, actually, let's bring you in, my friend. Bit of steamed tortoise for your trouble, and that should just about do the trick. In fact, you're looking pretty solid. 85 health and 24 damage is not too shabby. And let's continue to fight you. Fortunately, okay, never mind. Unfortunately, we're just shafted here, so we'll see if we can survive layer 4. But what I was going to mention is that fortunately we deal with berserk enemies fairly well at the end of the day, thanks to poison damage. By the time we get to that stage in the fight, at least, you know, for bears who only berserk low health, by the time we get to that stage in the fight, we're usually at a decent spot for the amount of applied poison and can kind of take advantage of just that. Okay, maybe I get some friends out of this. We'll see how many survive the encounter, since they seem to be dying about as quickly as we can make them, unfortunately. But it was a good try at the very least. Something I could have potentially done is try to take advantage of the deep water. Guess not so much when our enemies also swim. You sons of guns, immediately making me look the fool here. But there we go. We get some bonuses, of course, from our Merfolk self, and it also helps us do a little bit of sneaky kiting action, make sure we're staying safe. Ah, spider, eh? Could definitely be interesting. Our rapier should do wonderful work. And spider, of course. And man, this is my one issue with playing Red. Feels so bad to say goodbye to all your friends you worked so hard to gather up over the course of the floor. What can I say? I just get a bit too attached, unfortunately. And immediately walk away from that crab. Let's swap over to our startlingly red armor here. And then should have no problem fighting you. And that is wonderful. You don't seem too bad of a friend to have. So we'll go forward with you for now. Oh, I don't like the dream sheep. If I can get enough buddies on my side, then it's not the end of the world. But that right there is the problem. Unfortunately, don't have quite enough piety. I was hoping to try out the drain ability. I think that could have been fun. Do I sacrifice my crab for a good hit? Unfortunately, I think I do. I'm sorry, my friend. Sacrifices must be made, and of course, just at the end of the encounter, we do get the ability to drain life force. Too little, too late, unfortunately. But maybe, just maybe, there's another encounter waiting for us on this floor, and we can stretch our limbs a little bit, try out some of Red's other abilities. But we'll have to see how it goes. Unfortunately, not looking too hot right now. No, indeed it is not. So once again, we will say goodbye to all of our new friends. And just keep on keeping on. Okay. Excuse me. Pardon me. Just gonna head immediately upstairs. Acquirement, don't mind if I do. +0 crystal plate armor. Rampage willpower regen. Int -2. Man, I wish we weren't playing a dex-based character. If this was a strength melee character, then that would be fantastic. Just wonderful to see here. Otherwise, we have a fire ring that does have resist poison. I don't like the slow effect on rings. Definitely one of the more annoying egos that you can get, of the negative ones at least. But I do really want poison resistance. Could go for the triple sword. Really lean into a dex-based fighter. Don't go for the usual shield approach that we normally do. I think I'll go with the ring. I'm feeling indecisive, so let's just force the choice here. We can immediately check out the next option here. Manual of Long Blades. Okay, it turns out if we did take the triple sword, this kind of would have worked out in a fun way. Would have had the manual to get us up to the point where we were using that effectively. +1 gloves. Rampage. Evocable invisibility. Could try that out. Something that I haven't really used too much in my time. I guess it drains max HP on continued use. But as long as you're, killing things while evoking it, I don't see that as a huge deal. Strength -4, not ideal, but could be fun. Let's pick them up. Again, who knows if we'll actually use them? But we'll carry them around a little bit. And in fact, maybe we could use them temporarily. Encumbrance rating on fire dragon sails is 11, so it keeps our strength equivalent to that, which is usually what I'm aiming for. Unfortunately, definitely don't look quite as good. So that's a real shame. What's the play here? Do a little bit of blasting, I guess. Probably just shouldn't have gone down these stairs again in the first place. Just playing like an absolute buffoon here, but what else is new? If it works, even just technically, then I guess it works. And we get a few yak friends out of the deal, which is absolutely wonderful. Let's see how many more buddies we can accumulate here, shall we? Though that's looking to be pretty close to the end of the floor. And in fact, it is the end. Holy moly, well they're just blitzing by here in no time flat. We have Shoals and Spider as our two S branches. It's interesting, to say the least. I guess we could technically try out Spider. We're not in the worst spot. Potentially before we do so though, we will head back out to the regular dungeon and see how we fare in floors 12 and below. If we can get a little bit stronger before we have to risk life and limb in the S branches, then it definitely is a bit of an advantage. We'll pop ourselves in a nice little corridor here. That slow could have been very detrimental to our overall health here, but at the end of the day, everything seemed to work out. And while we're trying out a new god, we might as well lean a little harder into invocations, make those abilities slightly stronger as we continue forward, and potentially throwing as a nice backup, since we are playing a relatively melee focused character, and that's usually how I make them functional as we get a little further along in the game, rather, is add some method for dealing damage from afar, softening up enemies, as well as taking advantage of some of the stronger weapons in the game, most notably the javelins, which are usually just wonderful. Okay, went the wrong way, as unfortunately the Unseen Horror also just mulched their way through our softer zombie friends. You hate to see it. Oh, but on the flip side, I do love me a little bit of a surprise treasure vault in the middle of the floor. Just fantastic. What can I get rid of? Vulnerability scrolls will probably never use. That's something I always carry around under the guise of, well, who knows, maybe one day it will be the miraculous silver bullet that completely saves our run. Hasn't happened yet, but you never know, folks. And there we go, our first Hydra. I mean, soften you up with some flame charges. At the very least, our weapon is not a problem in terms of cutting off heads. And actually, I should have read a bit more what you do. 14 damage to each, and you have 17. Or, not 17, you have 7 heads. Well, we can probably kill an 8-headed Hydra. Slightly risky here, but not the end of the world. And I'm just going to stay out of range of the acid. Send our friends in to do all the hard work. Similar situation here. There we go. And now we have 2 Hydras. So how about that? Let's head in here. Oh, a bunch of undead friends. It's unfortunately not everything I was hoping and dreaming for here. Can at the very least see how they fare as enemies filter in. We always have the lovely retreat of just walking past all of our zombie buddies and see how well the Hydra fares, which at the end of the day is pretty fantastic. Good work, my friend. I also didn't check out Folk Invisibility's 36% failure. A little high, but potentially something I'm interested in. Please don't hit me. Perfect, thank you. Thank you kindly for missing with your large rocks, my friend. And we'll finish off the rest of the floor. So far, not looking too bad. Definitely seems like a manageable pace for us here. Do you have a... not a distortion-based weapon? You fool. I mean, still getting drained up the wazoo, but Much rather deal with that than the potential surprise flight directly to the abyss, a one-way ticket to the abyss. Ah, and it looks like we're not quite ready to deal with these sons of guns as they slaughter our poor friend. So this floor might be where we take a wee bit of a hiatus. How do I feel about fighting one of you? 71% chance to hit me? Well, we're definitely not that much of a dex-based fighter quite yet. We're working our way there slowly but surely, but at 14 evasion, we're not exactly untouchable. Don't love that. We'll take you upstairs, though. Immediately take way more damage than I'd like. At 29 evasion, when we have our acrobat, it's still 41% chance to hit me. Oh, why are you so strong, my friend? Glowing orange brain, ghost moth, or slime creature? None. Nope. None of the above. Please and thank you. What else do we have at our disposal here besides fear, I guess? Oh, jeez. Oh no. Fear fails, folks. Easily resists, in fact, and we take exactly lethal damage. Oh, what a start to our day. Right as Drogo points out the 37 ice blasts already. Wasn't it wonderful? Oh, me oh my. You'll see the Carver. Well, I guess trying out Red and seeing how things go is going to have to wait for another day. Such a shame. Also, looking at that score screen, I see that it's MfGl. I already made that mistake posting the first episode of the video as the cutout from last session here because I thought it was ME. But I guess ME is Meteorin now? So I should fix that. I'll try to remember to do that after stream. We'll see how well it goes.